What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Sports Talk on Tap podcast. We're here. You can find daily videos Monday through Friday covering all the four major sports leagues, whether that be NHL, NBA, NFL, or MLB, games, highlights, news, draft reactions, all that fun stuff. And in today's episode, it's only fair we start off with the NBA draft, one of the biggest events of the NBA, throughout this offseason. And I think the most anticipated pick, number 55 pick in the second round, Nick, any team ever watched for, or any any fan that watched, Bronny James does go to the Los Angeles Lakers. And the story around this, it's going to be interesting. But regardless, I think it's just cool to see a father and son play together. I think that alone makes it. But at the end of the day, I really hope they were, making this pick based on his talent and potential, because you don't just want to waste a pick for a storyline, especially if you're JJ Redick and, this new coaching staff. You want to come and prove something. There's a lot of pressure taking this Lakers job in its immediate window. I think Bronny is good upside. He's obviously a great defender. Can that shot, be worked on? Behind the scenes, yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting Bronny to be playing much this year, kind of the second rounder, especially this late. It's kind of like prospect players. So, it's kind of like, can you develop them in projects? So at the end of the day, it's going to be a dope storyline, just seeing them on the sideline together, LeBron being a mentor for him on the same team. That's going to be kind of funny. It'll be interesting to see how the Lakers go. I saw their draft room, though. They're really pumped up about getting him. And, LeBron James, maybe, the GM played a role in this. But
I'm sure.
I'm excited to see. I think the Lakers got a great player in Dalton Kennett. If you haven't already, check out our winners and losers from yesterday. You take a little bit of a project here, interesting player. Excited to see what he can do, though, if he does pan out, because just the name alone is going to be great for marketing and stuff. And then, overall, mainly, Nick, I want to get your takeaways as well from, this pick alone before we get into some others, because this was obviously the biggest pick, even though it was one of the last picks in the draft.
I know he's been getting a lot of, very undeserved hate. People are saying he's only in the NBA because of his name, all that stuff. And, I try to stay away from that. I personally think he should have gone back to school, just because, I didn't think he was, there yet. But, I mean, the fact that he's in the NBA is, hats off to him. I do think this was, a multi-purpose pick for the Lakers. I don't think it was just solely they picked him because they believe they can develop him. I think they picked him because they're trying to keep LeBron around and he wants to play with him. It's going to get them, I bet you, a ton of TV deals. I don't even know if he's going to play in the G League, because people are going to want to see him play with his dad on national TV. So, if he's playing in the G League.
We're going to play in Summer League, so that will get us a sense of where he's at.
But, I don't think they're going to be able – I mean, they can technically do whatever they want with him, pause, but, they can develop him in the G League if they want to. But I still feel like people are going to be, calling for now, hey, we want to see him play with LeBron. Did you draft him just to not play him with LeBron? And then, because, LeBron's window is closing, because as good as he is, he's almost 40 years old. He can't play forever. Yeah. So they want to see him play with him eventually. So, I mean, I think it's fine. Like you just said, they hit on their first round pick and getting Dalton Connect. So, this is kind of the second round is kind of just like a, shot in the dark. If you hit on your draft pick, then that's an added bonus. But I'm fine with that. I think everybody really expected it. I know everybody was saying the Celtics could have taken him one pick ahead of them just to, screw
that would have been funny. That would have been funny.
It would have been funny. I don't think the Celtics are, trying to just, poke fun at them.
I don't think I think if the Celtics
trying to build a team, they're not.
If the Celtics and other teams in front of the Lakers really believed in the potential, they would have taken them. They would have said, screw this.
I know Rich Paul was calling people saying don't draft him, do not draft him. Like he wants to
Yeah,
go to the Lakers, all that stuff, which I think is kind of. I think
it's
agents should not be able to do that.
yeah, I think it's a little petty because it's not like this guy's a top like pick in the draft. Like it's
Mhm.
number 55. Like you can calm down.
Right.
But with that being said, yeah, will be interesting to see. Obviously, it was the biggest pick, but I also want to give some highlights on some other players I really liked. Number 32, Kyle Filipowski to the Jazz A plus. I know we mentioned Duke center. Really, is a great offensive player. Can do some things on defense, versatility wise. Not sure if you heard the story about his girlfriend.
Yeah, I saw it. There's like a lot going on with that.
So there is a little bit of a weird family situation, to say the least, with Kyle Filipowski. Maybe why he wasn't drafted first round, because it was very interesting. But he's almost 7 foot. It was an A plus grade for the Jazz, so he'll be probably power forward center because you still have Walker Kessler there and Laurie Markkinen, so he's probably coming off the bench somewhat. Um, some other ones, Trailblazers get Tyler Kolek. I think he's going to New York though. So it's really the Knicks getting a great backup point guard from Marquette. Just a ball handler, very efficient scorer in college. Doesn't take, the highly contested shots. Just, will make his shots when time calls upon him, and it'll just be kind of, a good fit like for that backup point guard spot, for Jalen Brunson, because,
Mhm.
someone even though Tom Thibodeau loves his starters, someone needs to play that like 4 to 8 minutes he misses. So that'll be interesting. Also, back-to-back picks. Johnny Furphy slipped all the way to 35 from Kansas. He's just a great sniping player from the wing for Kansas. I remember watching him a couple times last year. So I think that was a good one. And then I also want to give some shout out to the Toronto Raptors getting Jamal Shed, pick number 45 from Houston. That earned an A grade from the CBF draft. And while I don't always agree with them, I thought that was a great hit right there, because when you get the leader of, in my opinion, it was the best team in the country before they lost Jamal Shed to injury in the tournament to Duke. And then they ended up losing to Duke by like 2 points. That sucked because I really thought them versus UConn, Nick. Houston-UConn would have been a great game, but unfortunately, an injury ruined it. He was the best player on that Houston team, which was arguably the best team in the country. So the reason he slipped probably was because his offensive game still needs some work, but he's just a tremendous defender, stealer, facilitator. And if he can just get that shot down consistently, that'd be a good one. And then also Cam Christie, Minnesota shooting guard, to the looks like the Los Angeles Clippers. So, that'll be interesting. People expected him to return to school in Minnesota, but he was a star freshman for that squad. So want to give some love there. And this was definitely a big UConn draft. All their players almost got drafted because they were all shooters. You saw Cam Spencer go late. Tristan Newton also went second round. You had Stephon Castle earlier in the draft. And who else? Donovan Klingane. It was a big UConn draft, to say the least. So, good for them. And obviously Bronny James was, the guy that kind of rounded it out. Big names. But overall, definitely I like the draft in a way that's only, 2 drafts, and then you can just sign free agents like, undrafted. That way we're not sitting here all day. But, I loved it. I thought it was a very interesting draft, despite, not the high-end talent you expect from most drafts, like a Wembanyama or something. But overall, I loved what my Timberwolves did. Obviously, coincidentally, though, yesterday they traded from pick 37. They traded all the way out of this year to just save money for the luxury tax. So that's cool, because you can always just sign unrestricted free agents if you really didn't want anyone. So works out for me. But with that being said, yeah, obviously overall, Nick, too, Celtic got Baylor Shyman. They were winners.
Yeah, I just want to also give a shout out to the Pacers. I thought they had a good second round, and I was really high on Tristan Newton from UConn. Like, I think they got a steal in him. I know he was All-American. I don't really know. I mean, obviously he's not going to start just because he's a rookie, but I believe he's a point guard. So it's like I don't know if they're going to bring him up as like a shooting guard, maybe he'd be a smaller shooting guard, but just because you have Halliburton there, so it's kind of tough because he's also only like 24. So I'm curious to see like what they do with that because I
And
think
Detroit,
do think he's a steal.
I think Detroit getting Cam Spencer, that UConn guy, I never thought he missed whenever he was shooting a three-pointer in the NCAA tournament and just all regular season. That dude is just a bucket. UConn, looking back, that team was stacked.
Is anybody going to take Jack Golke? Are they going to sign him?
Maybe. Will someone take a chance? That'd be
Isn't
interesting.
he like 26?
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
Hey,
But,
I mean, if you can
he'll
shoot,
always
you can
have
shoot.
he'll always have his legendary March Madness moment. If you remember, like Doug Eddard on St. Peter's,
Mhm.
he had his moment, but he was also like 24. So that'll be interesting though. Although great draft. It being said, free agency is upon us in the horizon. I believe it starts very soon, like a couple days. So we're obviously going to be here to talk about that. Keep an eye out on some big trades that may happen just this weekend alone. But make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content here throughout the and it's just getting started, and this is just the best part. All solid draft. I know we're both happy with our teams. And with that being said, the next one, peace.